Hi, my name is Paige, and I have two children. I have a 3-year-old, and I have an almost 8-year-old. I struggled with postpartum anxiety with both of my children, and most severely with my second child. So after my daughter Alice was born, it's a few different things that made me reach out for support. First, I just had this most amazing birth experience. I gave birth at home, and Alice arrived in about 2 hours and 43 minutes, so it was fast. And it was pretty ecstatic and like, oh my goodness, like I have a baby and it just came out of me so fast, and there was an elation. And that lasted for a couple of days, and then I stopped sleeping. So Alice, my second, was very much a great sleeper, and even was sleeping sort of like 6 and 7 and 8 hour stretches right after she was born, which was incredible, of course. But that was what made me realize that I wasn't sleeping. I was really anxious, and so anxious that I couldn't fall asleep. That is the main reason that I reached out for support, but that oversimplifies it. I had an incredible support system. Both of my children were born at home with a midwife, and the beautiful thing about having a midwife experience, at least my midwife experience at home, was that I had support after the babies came. I had this person coming over my house and checking on me and making sure I and the baby were okay. And about 6 days into my postpartum experience with Alice, the fact that I wasn't sleeping started to catch up with me. I also was being very secretive about it, and I didn't understand that I was doing that. It was all very heady and confusing, but I started dreading the nighttime because I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep even though my baby was sleeping. And I knew I knew something was up, but I was so stuck in my anxiety that I couldn't actually ask for help. And then another factor was that I started to develop mastitis, and it was actually a blessing in disguise, because the pain and the fever and the absolute physical overwhelm that began to happen is what allowed me to literally lie in my bed and just say, help, I need help. And I was crying, and I had my baby on one side and my 4-year-old on the other side, and my husband came in, and he had no idea what to do. But I actually did. I said, call the midwife, call Elizabeth. And we did, and Elizabeth came over, and she said, I've been worried about you, and I think you need to get help. And I said, absolutely, I do need to get help. How soon can I get it? I'd like it now. The benefits that I saw after seeking support were huge. Before I talk about those benefits, I just want to revisit the way that the anxiety was trapping me for that first 6 days. For that first 6 days, the anxiety was running the show. I wasn't there. The thoughts, it wasn't even thoughts that I can really name anymore. It was a overwhelming feeling that I was not okay, and I couldn't sit still, and I couldn't relax, and I couldn't sleep, and I was going through the motions of talking to people and, eating the foods that they brought me, and kind of pretending, which felt really weird because that's not at all something that I normally do in my life. And so when I did finally call for help, and it all, coalesced into me literally yelling for help, the support that I got immediately was that it broke the cycle of the anxiety. Because when you have really deep anxiety, the anxiety is running the show and it's coloring everything and it's driving everything and it's making everything feel fearful. Even normal things like talking to a friend and having them come say, congratulations, you had a baby, felt like a scary thing to do while the anxiety was there. And so the support that came right away was that break, was let's break the cycle of the anxiety. And it was a huge release to just confess basically to my midwife and to my husband and to my mother who were there at the time that I'm not okay and I need help. And the next question was, okay, what kind of help do you think you need? And I was like, I don't know. Anything, everything. When do you want it? Now. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. So I got on the phone the day that all this happened. I got on the phone and called my doctor and was put in touch with a organization that helps with postpartum health in the area where I live. And I got in to see my doctor right away, and I got in to see a therapist right away. And that was the beginning of what the support did, was just breaking the cycle of secrecy about what I was feeling. And I feel really lucky that for me, it was almost lucky that it was so severe, because it was so severe that I had to get help fast. Whereas sometimes we don't get help fast and it lingers and lingers and lingers. From there, I got the support of seeing a therapist, and I did end up needing to take some medication just at first to help me sleep, I was very scared of that. That was very scary to try, but also scary not to try. So that was part of my healing, and there was other pieces as well from just talking to someone about what I was going through. But then also, gosh, really the biggest support when I really look back was having my experience normalized. Realizing I'm not alone in this. It's not my fault. There's biochemical changes happening in my brain and hormonal changes happening in my whole system that are causing this aberrant thinking to happen. It's not me. It's not this person. It's not Paige doing this. I'm not choosing this. It's happening through my field. And as I was able to tease some of that out, there was some relief. And I think it's just important for me to say that then I did take additional medication. And that was a very, very important part of my healing journey. And it was not something I ever thought I would do. And again, I feel blessed that my experience was so intense and severe that I was open to it. I didn't have a lot of qualms about it at that point. I just wanted to feel normal again and okay and grounded and alive and be able to breathe and look people in the eye and say hello. And I took that medication for almost 2 years, and then I stopped, and it's been absolutely fine ever since. Other things that I did that were incredibly supportive included acupuncture that was targeted at helping balance my hormonal cocktail and brain chemistry, and that was extremely helpful. And again, my acupuncturist also gave me a lot of grounding in how normal it was that I was experiencing the feelings I was experiencing. And then the next piece, and this is so important, was that it wouldn't last forever. And I can remember looking at my acupuncturist and saying, I don't know if you're right. I might feel like this forever. And recognizing that that was part of the anxiety and the fear was like, I'm going to feel this forever. I'm never going to feel anything but this. And that's a telltale sign of anxiety, right? Is to tell you that you're stuck in it, but you're not. And I wasn't. And it took time and a lot of support and a lot of space and love. So my message to you, and I've given this message to a lot of my friends and people through social media and other places that have shared my story, is ask for help. Get help. If you feel weird, if you feel a little down, if you feel a little anxious, just ask for help. There's no reason not to. I've seen multiple people in my life feel a a smaller version of what I was feeling after my second child was born. And because it was a smaller version, they didn't get help for a long time. And they suffered for a long time, for 2 and 3 years before they got help, or maybe they never got help at all, and they continue to feel a little off, or they look back with sort of 2020 hindsight and realize that they were vacant from themselves and their child and children during those early months and years. There is no reason not to get help. There is no reason not to seek out the services that are available to support you as a mother. Being a parent is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. And I signed up for it because I knew it was going to be hard, and I wanted to grow through it, and I wanted to see what it was like to love something so completely outside of this physical body. And that love and that attachment and that dedication and that time and that intensity, it is a big deal. And you need support. And I need support. We all need support. We need community. We need all of the resources that are available to support our mental health. And when we support our own mental health and physical health, all of the pieces, we support the lives of our children as well. It's not a failure to ask for help. It's a success.